What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. I got a review for you, and I'm going to take it to infinity and beyond. Let's get into it. Man, I hear myself do the dad joke, guys. I hear myself do it, and they're so bad I make myself laugh. I'm sorry. Thank you for putting up with it. I appreciate it. We're going to be taking a look at those sounds, the Kizer Beyond. What we do in my review, size comparisons, weight, and then we jump into my thoughts and impressions. So let's kick it off with those size comparisons. We're going to first look at the medium-sized Megaron Moyarl. This one here, very comparable to the Benchmade Bug Out, and you can see the Beyond is really close in that size. That's like medium-sized EDC for me. And here it is against the Civivi Amorite. So I feel like it's definitely closer to the Moyarl when you line up the pivots. Just a skosh more blade length, just a skosh more handle length, but for your grip length, the Moyarl actually has more of it. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of other knives, and this is going to be your Spyderco Shaman, which is full size, very comparable to both the PM2 and the Rat 1 if you need that reference. Those knives are just so old to me that I just don't think that it's worth doing the comparison when there's stuff that's newer and or more popular that people have out there. And then comparable to your Rat 2 is going to be your Para 3 lightweight. So the lightweight a little bit smaller, and I know it does look like it's close to the Shaman length, but again, when you take away the ergonomic contact point, it's actually inside and lines up with where your lanyard hole is. So let's go ahead and use these smaller knives for the thickness profile, and this is going to let you know A in hand, B in pocket. That's why I do like this one a lot. Oh, it's dead even. Dead even to the Para 3, and we'll bring out the Moyarl, which should be thicker in that instance. Yeah, you can definitely see almost a scales thickness more. And then what is it going to be like in pocket? How's it going to carry? We'll go this way. We'll go from the heel of the knife. So longer than both of these. So it's going to carry a little bit deeper in the pocket. And then we'll bring the scale out for the last part of this. And we'll check the weight on this one out. All titanium, coming in at 3.6 ounces. Not bad. Really close to that 3.5 ounce weight, which I think is still really good for EDC. I know some people want under this and over that, and do with that what you will, but I think 3.5 is normal. Like, you're just not going to notice it that it's in the pocket, in my opinion. All right, I'm going to kick it down to the garage. We're going to get the cut test done first. Okay, guys, we're in the garage. Man, that's just such a wicked sound. Got the Beyond down here. Nice American Tonto. Let's check this one out. This is S35VN, guys. This is another steel that I really like from Kizer. They have historically done a really good job on it. Nice geometry right out the gate. Let's see, I am feeling that pocket clip poke me a little bit. The termination on it is a little pointy, so I do feel that in the hand a little, but nothing egregious. I mean, it's just a little pokey, not awful, and I am feeling a little bit of sharpness right here on that tip. They could probably stand to knock that down a little bit more. I am trying to get through some of this older cardboard that's been out here a little while, so I do have a thinner slice, so we're going to just go further down with the cutting just to test this one out. It is a patch round, so I am going to kind of limit it anyway, so I'm not going to do a ton, and we'll skip over the tape. That just saves me having to clean up the gum up that it can create from that tape. So we're going to just jump down. Let's do this. Since we have that American Tonto tip, let's just do a little cut across the cardboard on the cutting board. Hopefully you're seeing that pretty well. That acute tip on the Tonto is really nice, guys. It's got a nice, sharp, pointy edge, so really cool to see that. Let's do a couple more passes, and then we'll just see how the S35 held up. S30, S35VN, S45VN generally have really good edge retention on it, so I won't be surprised if this, as it slices through this cardboard, cuts through the paper really nicely. This is really impressive, guys. So just a little bit of gum up there. Hopefully you're seeing that okay. Nothing too bad. Let's see what it feels like going back through the paper now. Yeah, so S35Yen has really good edge retention, and Kizer does a really good job with their S35Yen. Really impressive, guys. I know it's not a huge cut test, but it is a pass around. So I'm going to kick it back up to the table. All right, we're back from the garage, and this leads me into Ergo's first, guys. Ergonomically, this knife is a little bit of a miss for me. With the larger hands, I land in a really weird spot. You can see here, index finger, I try to squeeze it up as much as I can, and that means my middle finger is like in this awkward spot on the ramp, at the top of the ramp. I think if you had smaller hands, you'd be able to really get both your fingers almost fully in here, and it'd probably be a little bit more comfortable for you. And if you have even bigger hands than me, then you can probably just use this as a 4 choil and just call it a 3-finger knife. It's just a little, I get it. It's a design aesthetic. Kind of reminds me of that Tesla truck. What's it called? I can't remember. It has like those hard lines. Kind of makes me think that's the inspiration behind this one. But ergonomically for me, just a little bit of a miss. Also, when I try to squeeze up, there's a sharp corner here. So that's digging into my finger. Pocket clip doesn't bother me. Pocket clip doesn't bother me at all. And then just to demonstrate the pocket clip, see if I can hold it in place there. See what's happening? Just not enough clearance for me unless you have your pants pulled super tight or you wear slim fit jeans or whatever. It does carry decent, and it does come out fine. No issues there whatsoever. They did a good job, and that's what I wanted to see on the Wrath, was this being on the other side of the relief cut. And that does go a long way. The reason that it struggles so much with the pocket clip going in, it's not tall enough. It needs to be a little bit taller so that you actually have enough clearance to get over the seam there. If you hit it a certain way, because it's so tight to the scale, it's going to bound up. I really like this back spacer with the integrated lanyard hole. I think that doesn't bother me from a design aesthetic, especially because it looks so interesting from here. It's a very good looking knife. As far as the opening hole, it's in a good spot here. I can thumb flick it. If I don't put my finger on the lock bar, I can thumb flick it. And I can reverse flick it. Now, let's listen to these sounds, because this is going to be a love it or hate it thing, I believe. But with the way that the grinds are done on this one, you can kind of feel the grind line still, and the detent ball runs across it. So you get a very interesting sound out of the Beyond. It is a guillotine, guys. Is this thing locked up? Yeah, it's locked up. Locked up solid. No play up and down or side to side. Good access to the lock bar. It looks like it's a little tight, but actually, because of the way that they did a double chamfer here, I actually have no issues with the disengagement. Lock bar feels light, but still the detent feels tuned. I'm not quite sure how to explain that. It could be just because this thing is so thin. Like when you look at this blade and the lockup of the blade, and you look at the blade's geometry, it's really thin. And I think that's why it cuts so well downstairs, because truth be told, it feels to the touch thick behind the edge here. It has a very shallow grind, and it feels thick, and it feels like they put, just a really good angle on it. And I apologize, my fingerprints are all over it. It just feels like they put a really good angle on the knife itself, which made it cut really well. But truth be told, it moved through the materials fine. So I'm guessing, even though it's a shallow, flat grind, and it feels thick behind the edge, it really, for an EDC, it's going to perform just fine. And I like the acute tip here from your American Tonto. That's really going to help with the draw cuts. And, overall, It's a very cool looking knife. It kind of makes me wish that instead of cutting this sharp of an angle, they would have just pulled the angle out a little bit more. You know, have it a little less dramatic of an angle back here, almost to be like a butt, and I can get all four fingers on it. I don't have to try to squeeze up and encounter or feel this sharp edge here. It's going to work better for me, but you know, I can't be selfish. I can't think of just, you know, folks with larger hands, how this is going to feel in hand. Um, you know, I think if you have a medium hand, it's going to work a little better for you, but ergonomically, just a little weird for me. Perfectly centered. You got nylon washers with ceramic bearings. You know, it's hitting all the spots. You got, is this S35? Yep, S35VN, which is a great steel. It's going to have really good edge retention, and it's still going to be easy to manage. It's going to be corrosive resistant. You know, you're getting all of that in this particular knife for around $169. You know, for what you get, titanium S35VN, the build quality, it's really hard to knock it. I just don't like this one ergonomically. I think I prefer the Miltaw over top of this one, or the Sparrow. And I think those are about the same price. I like the design though. It is really cool looking in my opinion. I like that it's different in that it's unique. And I kind of like the way that they decided to go about with the backspacer and the jimping on the backspacer. I wish the pocket clip was a little bit taller, just a little bit, not much. But you know, if you give it that clearance that you see on some of your other, come on now, some of your other pocket clips. There you go. Stand up for me there. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the gap difference here. I'll try to do my best to kind of zoom in, but I think that little bit of extra clearance would go a really long way, because it did a good job with the design to make sure that it doesn't get impeded by that relief cut on the back. Yeah, it's okay. If you got medium hands and you like the design, I can recommend it. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Shout out to everyone out there that leaves the comments, watches the full video. That helps a ton, and the likes do help. Also, the comments, it lets the algorithm know that you're engaged, so thank you. I appreciate you. Special shout out to my members. I appreciate you guys being a member of the channel. Gonna have more content coming for you. I hope all of you have a fantastic week, and until next time, peace.